G'day punters, we are back at Kembla Grange this weekend for the running of the Run to the Rose. Plenty of good horses engaged, including the return of Anamoe, which we're all very excited about. Draw for the Kosciuszko was this week. Exciting times, plenty of horses getting into the race, slot holders securing their horses to go around next weekend. Is it next weekend, Hildo, the Cosy?
No, it's not it's not until late in October.
October. So they've got plenty of time,
October
don't they?
16th. October the 16th, same day as the Everest.
Same day as the Everest?
Same day as the Everest, yeah.
Okay, well, that's plenty of time. So did you say
5 weeks.
6 slots have gone already?
6 slots are gone already, yeah. 6 slots left.
6 slots left. So those people can sit on them for a little while and hopefully something jumps out of the box and takes their eye, and then they can take them closer to the race.
They can. I think besides the obvious ones who we thought, we're going to get picked, like Handle the Truth, Victorium, Art Cadeau, those horses are always going to sort of get picked up pretty quickly. Have been a couple of shocks with the horse like Plonker and another horse ahead of its time, who actually the owner drew a ticket. He's obviously going to put his own horse in the race. They've been a little bit of a surprise, but I think the other people will probably sit and wait a little bit onto some of these horses that haven't been racing. Edit for Cody Morgan's been picked up. It's had a lot of hype with 3 trials, won 3 trials out here and came across from New Zealand, Australian bloodstock. So it's got a slot now, and anyway, 6 to go. So people will be very interested in a few of these races that are coming up.
Who would be the horse that you'd have your eye on outside of the obvious that have already been taken?
Yeah, look, it was interesting to see that It's Me. Cav sort of said wouldn't go for the race. She had a nice gallop the other day, and Cav said, "Oh, look, they're going to look for black type with her. She's already won the Cosy last year." And speaking to Ash Morgan about her, he said that she'd come back bigger and stronger, and said if she sort of stands up and is sound, she'd be very hard to beat again. But unfortunately, we won't see her in it. But hopefully, we'll see her in the spring. I really like the horse that won its going on Monday. My Benalla for Sue Grills. I thought he hadn't raced for 18 months, and to do what he did first up was very, very good. He was in a trial with Mr. Hustle and Edit at Tamworth before that, and he trialled really well. And he came out and ran a really good race on Monday and went good against the clock too. They sort of went out slow, and he came home very quick, and thought he did a really good job from back in the field to win and beat a couple of good, honest country gallopers. So he'll take plenty of improvement out of that. The other horse was Mr. Hustle. I really like his highway runs. They've been really good. I think Cameron Crockett's done a great job with him. And I noticed on Twitter last night, Kieran McAvoy actually pushed for him to get in the run of the race. So must be giving him a good feel. And the couple of times he's been on him, and he's another horse that I think can run a race he gets in.
Yeah, I reckon the barrier beat him on Saturday. He had Eagle just got back too far. But yeah, he'd be riding a race like that. I've had something at big odds on Sunrise Ruby, so I hope she gets a slot for Mitch Beer at $51. She's into $17, so hopefully she can get a slot. She's lightly raced, and I think she'd measure up to a race like this. It's to be run on the 16th of October, so we've got about a month to secure horses in the race. It's going to be a cracking race. Ice in Vancouver, he's been a little bit forgotten about, but he's a nice horse. I'm just looking at the market now.
Got a lot to live up to from last year. We found It's Me last year at 100 to 1. So tried to replicate that this year, but it's been a bit tougher to find something around the big odds like that, especially when she ended up starting
210 or something like that. She was very short on the day.
Yeah, we found her at 100 to 1 after she won a maiden at Scone. So it was a good get last year, but kind of struggled this year.
Who did she beat? Something got up on the inside. Do you remember? Redouble. Yeah, he was with Mitch Beer. Used to be with Beyond, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, hopefully Mitch Beer can replicate this year with Sunrise Ruby. But we'll jump into these races on Saturday. The feature is the Run to the Rose, but we'll get to that. We're going to go through the QUADDIE legs. Plenty of action on Saturday. The first race we're going to go through is the Group 2 Theo Marks over 1,300 metres. It's race 7 on the card. The best backed runner in the race is Madame Rouge. She's $18 into $10. Big Parade. He was well supported. He went up with the tab $6 on Wednesday at 10.46, and then he was chipped away into $3.10 an hour later at 11.58. So he's sitting around that $3.10 mark now. He took control of the race a couple of weeks ago at Kembla. He broke the track record only for it to be broken a couple of races later by King of Sparta. Does he get complete control here, Luke?
He's going to have company for sure. With a horse like Peyton Place in the race who does roll along, he's going to be a bit of a pest to him. And then you've got Discharge from the Gaybot stable as well, who's obviously going to, from 6, is going to drive forward, and he's not going to get his own way in front on Saturday at all.
Yeah, he's. I couldn't see. Gay's got 2 in the race, Discharged, as you said, and I reckon that Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott team, I think Embracer really can win the race, and he can take a sit in behind Big Parade. So I'd suggest Discharge won't let Big Parade get his own way. Embracer's my horse. He's been 12 into $9.50. He missed the start first up, and that's not his go. And he had to do a little bit of work to find his spot. And I thought he was really good there. He hit the front. He just peaked on his effort late, and Private Eye had to reel off some really good late sectionals to beat him. I think he's going to strip fitter for that effort. He gets, I think, a 1.5 kilo weight swing on Private Eye for that effort. And second up, his form isn't great second up, but his last 2 second up, he struck wet tracks, which isn't his go. So we're going to find out about him on Saturday. He gets good surface, and I think he's going to be hard to beat. Who's the first horse that you're going to be putting in the quaddie, Luke?
Sort of a favourite of mine, this horse. I really like NIMALEE from Matt Smith's stable. First up run last time in was enormous when she beat Yardash. She settles handy. She's drawn 11, a little bit sticky from there. I don't think there's going to be enough genuine speed in the race to be able to come across and hopefully get that sort of 1 out, 1 back, or maybe 2 pairs back in the running line. And, you know, what she did last time in, like second up, beat Graceful Glamour. I just think she's over the odds at the moment. I think in a race like this, when it's probably not as strong as what she's come up in the past. And I thought her trial at Gosford was super the other day. She does like a little bit of bang out of it. I'm not sure if she's going to get that tomorrow at Kembla. It did have rain earlier in the week, and a few of those tracks down that way have come up soft. So I think Kembla might have the edge off it, and that's probably what she needs to perform at her best.
Yeah, and she was terrific, as you said, first up, last preparation winning. The other one that I'm going to put in Big Parade. He was super winning first up. He carried 61 kilos. As I said, he broke the track record only to have it broken a couple of races later. He's been back to the trials. His trial wasn't as great as you would have hoped, but if he can reproduce what he did first up, I think he's going to be really hard to beat. He might just come back a different horse. He loves 1,300 meters. The pressure is the key to him, whether or not he gets plenty of pressure or not. But if he gets his own way in front, if he can control the race, find the fence, he's going to be hard to get past. So he's the other one that I'm definitely going to be throwing in. So far we've got NIMALEE, Embracer, Big Parade, and last but not least, what are you putting in, Luke?
Ice Bath. I thought she was super in her return first up this time in. Was on a pretty good track there at Randwick, and she got through it okay. She does like sting out of the ground, but she went really well on top of the ground at Private Eye. And I think she finds the right race here. She's just going to be nestled in behind that speed. I think there's going to be a fair bit of pressure there with Big Parade, Embracer, Discharge, Peyton Place. I think Kieran's going to get the nice run behind and up to 1,300. I think she's well suited tomorrow to be just stalking that speed and hopefully get over the top of them. I think she's going to take a power of beating tomorrow.
Okay, so our numbers in the Theo Mark Stakes are numbers 2, Ice Bath, number 5, NIMALEE, number 10, Big Parade, and number 11, Embracer. Moving on to the feature race of the day, the Run to the Rose, Group 2 over 1,200 metres. The best backed runner would have to be the Sires Produce winner, Anamoe. He's been $3.10 to $2.45 since markets opened up. Glen Eagle's been spec'd odds, $67 into $27. The Sire's Produce winner returns here, Anamoe. Where does he get to from barrier 5? Can James find a spot close enough to the speed here, Luke?
Yeah, look, I think he can. I think there's going to be enough sort of pressure inside that are going to roll along a bit. And I think he sort of gets to where he wants to be. If he wants that one out, one back spot, he can. I don't think he probably needs to be there. He might sort of settle a pair further back. But I think I've sort of got him 3 pairs back in the running line. And I think he gets the best run in the race from such a good gate.
Yeah, I have him not too far back. I just think there's not too much speed in the race. Like in the Congo, should be able to take control of the race and prove hard to beat. But I'm going to make my 2 cases here. I'm going to make a case for Anamoe. Obviously, Sire's Produce was outstanding. They had the Champagne Stakes at their mercy, and they elected to bypass that and have this preparation in mind. So he's been for a spell. He's trialled. He had an elevated temperature, so that's the concern with him, that he missed a little bit of work and he missed a run. But he shows up here. I'd suggest that he's in order and he's going to be really hard to beat. The early money suggests that he's going to be really hard to beat. He draws 5. James is in the saddle. He can win, no doubt, and he'll be going in everything. Converge. He was really good in Queensland. Missed the start in that Sire's Produce. And I think the stable worked out how to ride him when he did miss the start, because he ran on really well in that Sire's Produce. And then they rode him quiet in the JJ Atkins, and he was a dominant winner. He's trialled really nicely since, the latest one being against the older horses. Draws 3. I'm not sure how quiet they can ride him from barrier 3, but I wouldn't expect him to lead. I think he can bob up over 1,200 metres, even though he will be better suited over further, being by Frankel. So Anamoe and Converge for me. Hildo, you're going to make a case for the other 2 Group 1 winners in their 2-year-old season, Captivant and Stay Inside.
Yeah, both horses I thought were very good the other day. Captivant was... I thought he went enormous and probably exceeded expectations the other day, and he just draws to do no work and get the right run in the race on Saturday. Like you said, I'm not sure if there's going to be a lot of speed in this race. I think Timmy Clark will be positive on Converge just to hold his spot and hold his ground, and he sat 3rd in a 1,200 metre race first up last time, so I think he'll still want to be forward knowing the Gaybot stable. And I think Captivant just gets a nice, easy run in the race, does no work, and he finished off really well the other day, and I could see him doing it again. Stay Inside, it was just probably sort of a pass mark the other day, but I remember coming out of the autumn with him and discussion with a few people, and I was like, there's no way that Anamoe would beat Stay Inside in any races moving forward, and so I'm going to sort of stick with that and think that he can measure up again. As I said, I was a little bit disappointed in his first up run, but I'll give him a pass mark. Gate wasn't any help. He gets a sticky gate here. I'm not sure what Kieran's going to do on him. As you said, it's a race that probably may not have a lot of tempo, so it's going to be sticky for him. If he can get a little bit of luck and maybe get in that running line, I think he's going to be right in the finish, and we'll see a big improvement on his first up run. But it's going to be tricky and come down to what Kieran can do.
Yeah, he's definitely an interesting runner, Stay Inside. As you said, pass mark first up. He was really good between the 4 and the 2, and then he just knocked up. So he can strip fitter for that. But barrier 10, it's just really awkward for him. I reckon they'll probably want to make a statement with him, and I think that they will go forward on him, because if he gets back and he's just running on, he's not going to get an Everest slot. If he goes forward and makes a statement, he's a chance of getting an Everest slot. And I'm not sure how many more times we'll see him if he puts in performances like he did first up, because he's a colt and he's worth plenty of money. So not sure. It's coming up to D-Day for him, Stay Inside. Anything else to add on that race, Hildo?
No, I just think tempo and race structure is going to be part of a big play there. You've got the 2 Gaybot horses drawn for 3 and 4. Timmy Clark and Josh Barr, both positive riders. They may even try and push forward and control the race. And yeah, just concur. And then you've got Waller with Home Affairs in 14. Does he push the button on him to help out the rest of them? I don't know. It's going to be a very, very sort of tricky race, and it's going to come down to some tactics. And the more we talk about it, the more you find that no matter what happens, you feel that J-Mac's just going to get the right run in the race, and it's going to have to all happen around him.
Yeah, he's just got the right turn of foot, Anamoe. I'm excited to see his return, but it's going to be an intriguing race, especially just the tactics early on and where horses land. So the numbers we are going for in the run to the Rose are numbers 1, Stay Inside, number 2, Anamoe, number 3, Captivant, and number 4, Converge, all up the top. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 for us in the run to the Rose. Moving on to the next, race 9 is a benchmark 88 over 1,200 metres. There really hasn't been much money for anything here. The best back runner would be Mazu. $14 into $12. There's not much speed engaged here, Luke. Who did you expect to take up the running?
Yeah, look, it's an interesting race, this one. You've got the Zushak runner of Joe Pride coming down from the Hayes Dominic first time with Pride. He's a horse that can definitely settle on speed and can roll forward, but just, you know, with the Pride stable, it just might have a different scenario with it. We don't know too much. The trial's been okay. Yeah, interesting one. I'm not too sure about it, where it's going to land. I think it can roll forward, and I think it and a horse like Anamoe will probably sort of take up the running. J-Mac drawn 11. I think he's probably got to push the button and go forward. I can't see him wanting to go back in a race like this that could get away with not a lot of tempo. And then you've got obviously Troop Detective drawn low, who will probably push forward and keep that pressure on.
Yeah, I agree. I think Emanate will take control of the race. But as you said, Zushak with no weight on his back, he's an interesting runner, and he might be a touch of overs. The two that I'm going to make a case for, number 1, Count Rupee on his home track. He's going to be hard to beat for mine. First up, last preparation, he was absolutely outstanding on the Kensington track, chasing home Marway. Marway come out and blitzed him in that town plate at Wagga. So that form is good. And then he went and won on a soft 7 surface at Rose Hill. That was in 78 grain. But I don't think that real wet surfaces are his go. He's probably better suited on soft 5, good 4 sort of tracks, just a little bit of cutout. But this horse has got a good record on the track. He's got a good record at the distance. No public trials. He tackles benchmark 88 grade first up. He comes in with no weight with the claim for Brock Ryan. So he comes in with 53 kilos. He's drawn 5, so I think he can find a spot just behind the speed. And I have him down as a pretty nice horse, and I think he's going to be wound right up for a peak performance first up on his home track. Emanate definitely goes in for mine. I thought she was pretty good first up in that toy show. She just needed room a bit sooner, and she wasn't beaten far. She was only beaten 2.5 lengths. She draws 11 here. If James takes control of the race, we know Kembla Grange can play on speed, and I think she's going to be hard to beat. So Count Rupee and Emanate for mine. You're going to make a case for Ventura Ocean and the forever unlucky Hulk, Luke.
Yeah, look, we've mentioned this Ventura Ocean a few times now, and I'm not sure what the story is with the horse, because he's been accepted and scratched a few times, and whether they're waiting for a dry track or the right race. But I think he maps to get the right run. I'd like to see him sort of midfield from 7. I think Nash can be there, just in case this race is not run at a very good tempo. He can just be close enough, and he's not going to get too far back. I think this horse sort of slipped under their guard. He sort of came to the Lees camp and went straight to Brisbane, and I think he sort of exceeded maybe beyond what their first impressions of him were. And then he came down to Sydney and he was super in the Frosty Rocks race, and that form's been great, and franked Frosty going on and winning again. And he was very unlucky back on the inside there. So I think he gets his chance tomorrow in the running line. Hopefully he's midfield, and I think he's going to take a power beating with the right run in the race and Nash aboard. So I think he's going to be very hard to beat. And then the other one I'm putting in the quaddie is, the Luckless Hulk. It's a bit of a default bet or default pick, this one. He just keeps doing it and keeps turning up and not delivering, but getting close enough. So, look, he's going to find a little bit tough tomorrow if they don't roll along, but he's just won in the race. If happens to be a little bit extra pressure and they push the button on True Detective and they can they can roll along, and they are swooping tomorrow at Kembla. He'll be the one getting the last crack at them late with G-Boss on board, who loves to get over the top and sort of annoy people and win races when they're not on.
Yeah, well, he's always got to go in because he's always thereabouts, and he's got a good record on the track. He's had 2 starts for 1 win and 1 second, so he definitely goes in everything. Our numbers for the 9th race, the benchmark 88, are numbers 4 Emanate, number 6 Ventura Ocean, number 8 Counter Rupee, and down the bottom, number 9 Hulk from the Chris Wallace stable. Moving on to the last race. Benchmark 78 over 1,500 metres. The best back runner so far has been Love Planet. They went up $9.50 on Wednesday. He's into $4.60 with James McDonald on board. Brooke Spire, she box seated first up over 1,400 metres on the Kensington track. That was on a wet surface. She draws 15 here, Luke. Where does she get to on a firm deck?
Yeah, this is sticky for her. Second up assignment, she was super first up, blew them away, and I know I was in the Kenzo midweeker, but she really destroyed them. And going to be tricky for Huey. Going to need one of his best. I'm sort of hoping that she can get 3 wide with cover, maybe midfield touch worse. But I think there's going to be enough pressure in this race. And I think if Huey can sort of just find some cover somewhere and track into the race, it'll definitely be finishing off strong. Could be looking for a touch further, second up now, but hopefully she's still got a bit of freshness in her legs from her first up run.
Yeah, I thought she was very good on the Kensington track first up, but it's just sort of a change of scenery here. It's different setup for a heavy track to a good track. Drew in, draws out here. She's an interesting runner, but I expected her to be a little bit shorter than she currently is in the market. The horses that I want to make a case for are Wariri Falls and Celestial Falls, the 2 Fallses. Wariri Falls, he did his best impression of Farlap 2 starts ago. He was terrific winning at Randwick. I know that was a relatively weak race, but he was getting back onto a good track and he was very good. And then he backed it up Randwick a couple of weeks ago. He just got too far back from the outside draw, and he had the best final 200 metres of the race. He draws better here, draws barrier 7, so he can find a spot close enough to the speed, and he's got a good turn of foot. I just can't get him anywhere near that $17 currently on offer. They went up 13, he was into 10, and he's back to $17 or $18 now. So I just think he's huge overs. The other one that I think is a good gamble in the race is Celestial Falls. If she can reproduce any of what she did last preparation, she's going to be really hard to beat. She runs second to Soldier of Love first up last prep, and then she runs second to Vanna Girl, and she ran third to Vanna Girl in the Roses. So I know that was a long time ago, but she's got the class to give this race a shake. First up, she was an absolute complete excuse. She was wide with no cover, and she didn't really shirk a task. There was a bit of money about for her that day as well. She draws better here. Getting onto a drier surface is in her favour, and I think $23 or $26, whatever is available, there's a little bit of overs about her. I think she'll be well supported on the day. You are going to make a case for Brooke Spear. I know you've already made it, but round that out for us. And Academy, who's been $15 into $9 already, Luke.
Yeah, look, I think Academy sort of sets up well for this race. Third up, 1,500 now. Controls this race on its own. I don't think going to have too much pressure with him. And the 2 kilos for Tom Sherry brings it back into the race, gives it a 60.5. Still a good weight, but 2 kilos off helps, and has drawn wide. But I think it's okay for this horse. It gives him some time to roll across. Tom's a good front-running rider. As I said, I don't think he'll have too much company up there in front. He can control the race out to 1,500, and he's run against a Tissue, and his first up running Kings here have both been very creditable. And I think he'll be very hard to beat if he gets his own way in front and can get away with a few cheap sectionals. He might take some running down.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be against him at all. And there's been money to suggest that he's going to improve third up. So our numbers for the last leg of the quaddie are numbers 1, Academy, number 5, Celestial Falls, number 8, Wariri Falls, and number 9, Brooke Spire. Just going through all our numbers for the quaddie, just to round it out. The first leg we got 1, 5, 10, and 2. The second leg we have 2, 3, 4, and 1. The third leg we have 4, 5, 8, and 9. And in the last leg, 1, 5, 8, and 9. Best bets on the card. I'll ask you in just a moment, Luke. Mine is race 9, number 8, Count to Rupee. As I said, I just think he's going to be ready to fire first up on his home track. His first up effort, last preparation, was outstanding behind Marway. That's good enough to win this race. Comes into it with no weight on his back with the claim for Brock. Sets up well. I think he's going to be hard to beat. What's your best on the day, Luke?
Yeah, soft spot for NIMALEE. I think she's really in at this race. She's got an incredible first up record. She's at 3 goes first up, 2 wins in a second. I think she's much better early on in the prep. A great job last time in horses like Our Dash and Graceful Glamour. Then went on to the Queen of the Turf, Group 1, wasn't beaten far, and then on to the inaugural running of the Coast, which wasn't beaten far by Brandenburg, probably at an unsuitable mile or, at the end of her prep. So I think she's right in this race tomorrow, and she just needs a touch of luck from gate 11, but I think you're getting overs about her, and if she can get a little bit of luck, she's going to take care of beating tomorrow.
Well, it's Count to Rupee for me and NIMALEE for Hildo. So that is race 7, number 5, NIMALEE. Thanks for coming on the show, mate.
Cheers, mate.